Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I have a new layout here for Pinkfresh Studio, and I'm going to start this layout with one of the cut files that you can find over in the Pinkfresh store. I'll link it below. It's called the Greenery Top and Bottom Border, and I basically just duplicated it a few times and made a square frame and then welded it together, and I love how it turned out. I cut it on one of the pattern papers from the Days of Splendor collection, and I'm just going to use that on top of some white cardstock there to sort of start my design. Now that I have this frame in place, it's a matter of where's my photo going to go and how am I going to embellish. And I've got an outdoor photo of my daughter walking through some of the trees in our yard, and I just thought it was a really pretty photo. It was in the late afternoon and the colors just sort of jumped out at me to match this collection really well. And it was taken in the fall, so it's technically a fall layout and a fall photo. So you can kind of see there the idea I had with the embellishments. I'm going to use lots of florals and things. And what I wanted to try to do was add some purple to the background. And when I say purple, I mean that really pretty light violet color or lavender color that is in this collection. And I'm going to try something different here and do just a little bit of mixed media. Now I'm stumbling over my words. I'm not going to use gesso today. And I thought I would try something a little bit different. This cardstock is textured white cardstock. So it's just plain old white cardstock here. Like I said, no gesso. And I thought that I would start by just splattering around the perimeter of the frame, and you saw me lightly trace with a pencil so I could see on the background where the inside of the frame is going to go. And so to make that purple color, I used the Pinkfresh Studio liquid watercolors, and I used the purple color, of course, which is called lavender. I mixed in a little bit of the red, which is the candy apple, and then the color that really makes it this deep fall shade is the brown color, which is espresso. And I recently discovered, I think in one of my previous Pinkfresh layouts, that the brown really does make these really pretty fall muted colors, because if you have the Pinkfresh watercolors, then you know they are super bright and bold, and so it's fun to kind of mix and match unexpected colors like the brown in with, you know, the purples and the pinks to create that deep fall color. And I love it. And I'm just using my brush here to add splatters and drips. And so far I like this. It's different. I wanted to try something different rather than just using the packaging technique, or one of my favorite things to do is just slap down some color and then spritz it with water and kind of let the color run and blend. I wanted to do something a little different. So I've got the splatters there, and I'm going to very lightly take my brush with the same color and kind of messily paint behind the leaves. And so it kind of gives some color behind the leaves and kind of blends out some of the splatters. I definitely want the splatters to show, but I also want the leaves in this cut file to stand out a little bit. And when you add a bunch of splatters like this, it tends to, you know, make the background a little bit busy. And so this is going to help create a little bit of solid color behind the leaves. And this was actually fun, and it turned out really well. I was kind of worried and nervous at first because, you know, I'm a huge fan of gesso, and I love the effects that you get with gesso. But I knew that I wasn't going to do a lot of blending and multiple colors on this layout. I mainly just wanted to stick to this purple shade. And so I thought, well, let me just try it without gesso and be more deliberate with where I paint. And so I haven't even glued down this cut file yet. I'm just very carefully lifting it up and then painting a little bit of color. I'm not being very careful or very specific. You know, I don't want it to look perfect because I want these leaves to kind of bend up a little bit and create some dimension when this is all said and done. But I do want the effects of that color. And so this was a fun way to do that. And It did not require gesso, and I think it turned out great. And I just kept working on it. I did kind of spread some of the purple inside the square, and I just added more water and it thinned out, and I think it turned out really, really nicely. And it looks like a big old hot mess here, but it makes sense when the cut file is back on top of it. And that's pretty much the background, and I was pleasantly surprised with how easy that came together. And yeah, I hope you'll give something like this a try. If you're a big fan of gesso like I am, you know, give this a try. If you don't like gesso or you don't want to use gesso, this is also something fun to try because it didn't involve a lot of blending, which is what I love to do all the time. And since this cut file kind of started my layout, it gave me the idea to do something different. And so that is kind of what I decided to go with, and I like how it turned out. So now comes the process of embellishing. I know I want the photo to go up on the top part right there, and then I pulled out the stickers, the die cuts, some of the puffy stickers, and I'm going to trim off some of the white border around some of these floral die cuts, because sometimes I think the white border just, it makes the die cut stand out a little too much, and it depends on the layout. I'm actually going to use another one here in a little bit where I'm not going to trim off any of it, and it's going to be fine. I'm just going to be putting it on top of the cut file on either side, a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top, kind of on all four sides. And I really like how this is looking. I love that you can still see the leaves from the cut file kind of showing behind the die cuts. And I mainly went through and chose the purple flowers. Also the green, because there's green in the cut file. But then I also used a couple of the cluster die cuts that have that golden yellow color. And I thought, okay, that's a pretty color. It actually, I would never have thought that that color would have went with purple and green, but I actually like the shades of these colors together. I think it's because they're so muted and they're so, they just kind of, you know, scream fall. This is a fall collection, and so the colors just sort of went. It just made sense to me. So I went with it and made sure that that gold color was kind of added in on all four sides. And I'm trying to make sure that all of the colors are represented on all four sides. And I know I've got a lot of purple and a lot of green, but yeah, I wanted to kind of even it out. Wanted to use lots of leaves, lots of florals. And I'm going to use that scallop circle piece at the bottom because I like how it looks right there. And then to bring a touch of that golden color down to the bottom section, I'm going to use some tangled thread. And I happen to have that gold color in my stash, so I'm going to go with that and just kind of tuck it up underneath that scallop circle piece so you can see it kind of peeking out at the bottom. And I'm going to start to glue things down piece by piece. Because I feel like I've got enough going on. I like the big white space underneath the photo. I didn't want to cover up the entire inside of the frame with color because I feel like the white space in the middle and the white space around the edges gives your eye a blank place to rest because the rest of the layout is pretty busy. And so I wanted to leave that white. I am going to stick a little bit of the darker purple thread underneath the photo there because I did want to bring a pop of that underneath the picture. And I did add some adhesive foam and some tissue paper behind my photo. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Just to give it some dimension, pop it up off the page. And I popped up some of the flowers too because the actual cut file is glued flat to the paper. And so I have to have some dimension on my pages. I love using adhesive foam to kind of pop it up a little bit. And this is going to be my title. I'm just going to go simple with this Everyday Magic die cut. And I kind of covered up the purple thread, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit more so you can see it underneath the title. And this is the die cut that I'm not going to trim off any of the white. I actually like the white on this because it makes the title stand out a little bit more. And I thought that it was the perfect size, the perfect title, the perfect everything. I really liked it. I was going to try to come up with something different, but when I saw that, I thought, you know what? It looks perfect right where it is. And I loved it. And it was, you know, it had the purple, little bit of purple on there on the everyday part. So that is going to go there. I'm going to add in a couple of little puffy stickers that matched here and there, some leaves and a little circle piece. I love this about the Pinkfresh Studio collections is you get so many different sizes of embellishments. You get these little tiny teeny puffy stickers, and then you get some bigger and medium sized die cuts and like cardstock stickers and things, and then you get that package of envelopes and dimensional die cuts, you know, that have sewing and things like that. I love that. You get a whole variety of things, which it's so fun to mix and match all those different types of things. Okay, here's my favorite thing. You guys know I love the essential jewels and crystals from Pinkfresh Studio. Again, I'll link those below too. They add the perfect texture, dimension, pop of sparkly color. I only wind up using those light brown ones though. I don't use the purple ones. Once I got all these light brown ones done, I felt like they did the job. And they are part of the crystals. The purple ones are part of the jewels. So yeah, I'll link those below. I just glued some of those around the page. You'll be able to see those up close here in just a minute. But I'm going to do my journaling outside of the frame, a little bit down here on the bottom right. I've got lots of space underneath the title, but like I said earlier, I want to leave that open. I want to have some empty space in between all of this other stuff that's going on. I feel like it helps the photo to stand out, it helps the title to stand out, and it helps everything else to kind of stand out. Because sometimes when you just cram too much into too small of a place, you kind of lose the focus of the photo, and I never want the focus off of the photo. So last thing I'm going to do is scatter around some enamel dots, but that's the final layout. There you can see in my proper lighting there. I love how this turned out, and I love that this whole design was based on this cut file. And like I said, it's called Greenery Top and Bottom Border. It comes with 2 little pieces, and I just duplicated it, like I said, and made it into a frame and welded it together. So always really take a look at the cut files, because you can manipulate them to make something totally different and will help dictate your layout and help you put it together. And that's exactly what happened here. But here are all the close-ups of all the detail, the dimension, all the beautiful die cuts and colors. And I am so glad that I scrapped this photo with this particular collection and these bits and pieces, because I think it turned out really, really pretty. So let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.